Namaste, and thank you for doing this interview with us.
Thank you for having me, Ifat.
So, to begin with, how did you first find out you had tuberculosis? What symptoms did you experience?
So it was back in 1999. I was 19 years old. I was studying my law from Pune, which is in Maharashtra, from law college there. I had just gone to my third year. I had summer vacations in May, June. I came back to Delhi. I wasn't feeling too bright for during my summer vacations. I developed a fever when I was back home. The fever was very high. It used to go up to about 100, 203, followed by a bad cough, congestion in the chest. Then my chest used to hurt. This went on for about 10 days to 2 weeks. Now my mother, being a doctor, a pathologist, and we had a laboratory where we stay, so she, immediately she jumped to conclusions. She did a lot of tests, and all tests came out negative, and she could never suspect that I had tuberculosis. I've never smoked in my life, and usually TB of the lungs. So because it was all about cough, so we thought it'll be if it was TB, it would have been only of the lungs, which obviously never came to our mind. So we did a battery of tests. Everything came out negative. The symptoms were a lot like TB, so that she had that suspicion. Finally, after about 2 weeks of my being ill, we got the TB test done, which came out positive. So that's how I got to know that I had tuberculosis.
What do you think caused it? You mentioned that you never smoked in your life.
So I've never smoked in my life, but I don't know about the present, but at least back then, and at least in my personal circumstances, in my experience, I had a lot of roommates. So we used to live in an apartment, and we were about three boys to a room. We were living in a two-bedroom apartment, and a lot of them used to smoke. And typically, there used to be, when they used to smoke inside the apartment, it would build up a lot of smoke because the cross ventilation and everything wasn't that great. So I ended up being at the same place when they were smoking, and I guess it was all thanks to passive smoking. Now, what is passive smoking is when you're actually not smoking, but there's smoke all around you and you're inhaling that smoke. So that's passive smoking. Now that could have been one of the reasons, could be any other reason, because for passive smoking and end up with TB, there would be like a lot of passive smoking to be done, which I'm sure it wasn't that bad. Otherwise, my friends would have been worse than I was at that time. So that was one of the reasons. Could have been anything else. Maybe my immunity was low. Maybe someone else had TB and that affected me, and then I got it of the lungs because my immunity had gone down. So basically that.
What was your initial reaction when you were diagnosed?
So, like I was saying, everybody knew what TB is in my house. But of course, the first reaction was everybody got little. Everybody was sort of taken aback, and it was a bit scary initially. But then we knew that the cure is there. We knew that the medication's available. We spoke to the doctors, specialists, pulmonologists, everybody who all other doctors who specialize in this field, and there was complete assurance from everyone that there is nothing to worry about. So maybe that first initial bit, maybe I can't time it and say it was the first 5 minutes of the first day, but yeah, initially maybe the first a day or two or 24 hours or 48 hours, till it kind of sunk in. It was a bit scary for everybody, but then it was just a matter of quick time that we all settled with the idea, and I was put on medication, and it took me about a month or two after I started the medication that I already started feeling better.
Right. So, what was your journey like? Could you take us through your story and how you dealt with it?
So, like I said, I was diagnosed with my diagnosis came 2 weeks after I had fallen ill because that's when the test was done. We started with the medication immediately. I was told that the medication would last for a year, 11 months. I had to had three tablets 3 times a day and a couple of other medicines that I don't remember for 11 months every day, daily. So I was doing that, and it took me. I think the first month was it was so I have faint memory now, but it was definitely a bit painful because chest used to hurt. I was coughing all the time. I was breathless, but that didn't last for too long. It was maybe for about 3 weeks or initial 4 weeks. I started feeling better from the second week onwards. But the side effect that there was that I started losing weight because I lost appetite with the medication, and I think medication itself had a side effect of reducing my weight. I was a very heavy teenager at that time. I was in my last teen. I was 19 years old at that time, and I was really heavy. I think I was about 125 kgs at that time. And this was back this so now we are in May, June, and by the time we were end of 1999 towards December, 6 months had gone by and I had already lost about 55, 60 kilos. So, and obviously when those 6 months had gone by, that I was absolutely feeling normal by then. So for me, I obviously I it was a negative chapter in my life, but I take it positively because I ended up losing weight,
Right.
and I lost a lot of weight, and then I got that confidence in me. I was looking better physically, I was feeling healthier. So it that negative disease had a positive impact on my mind later, and obviously, you know things progressed, and touchwood, hale and hearty now.
So that was like the silver lining.
Yeah.
How was your emotional journey? How did this diagnosis affect you and impact your life in the long run?
No, so it didn't. I don't think it did any emotional damage, but emotional journey, as in again, it didn't get too many emotions running at that time or even now, because I had a very good support system around me, with family, with my parents, with friends, friends back in college. Initially, we were worried that when I go back to it took me 3 months to get back to college after I was diagnosed, because it took that much time for me to recover, and we didn't want it to be in that contagious stage. So 2, 3 months, once the doctors gave me a green signal and they said you could go back to college, I went back. Now I was skeptical then whether I should tell people around me, if if I've had TB, or if I have TB and I'm under medication treatment for tuberculosis, because I wasn't sure how people would take it. But of course, communication was kind of building up. Then mobile phones were coming into the picture. We were in touch with friends and everybody all the time, so people did get to know. And surprisingly, there was not even 0.1% negative thought from anyone or reaction from anybody. Everybody was very positive, and nobody even cared about the contagious part. Though I wasn't, but nobody was scared of meeting me or talking to me, and it was absolutely normal. In fact, I got a lot of love and support from everyone. So emotionally, I think it was uplifting for me, because I realized that there were a lot of people around me who thought good of me and wanted good for me. And now today, if you ask me how it is today, when I look back, I always think that anything can happen to anybody at any point in time. So it's always good to look after your health. Maybe my immunity system was down then, that's why I got it. None of the guys who actually smoked got TB. In fact, nobody in my batch ever got TB. In my entire batch, I was the only one. So we still don't know what the source was exactly. But I think looking after your health at any stage in life, at any age in life, is very important, because if your health is strong, your immunity is good, then even if they're the strongest of diseases around you, you might be the last person to contract it and others might get before you. So be healthy and stay strong.
Do you have any advice or message for anyone else battling TB today?
Absolutely. If there is anybody, I'm sure there are. So a lot of people might still contract TB in rural areas, where though our Indian rural areas are getting developed by the day. But if anybody does, whether it's urban or rural, wherever they are in the world, I you should not worry. TB is something, the taboo of TB being a deadly disease is no more a taboo. It's very curable. There are TBs of all sorts. There could be TB of the lungs, there could be TB of the bones. So there are different type of tuberculosis, and different type of TB can affect different parts of your body and your immune system and your organs. Now, depending what sort of TB, irrespective whatever TB a person has, or whatever disease that might be, I think a positive mind really helps. Obviously, getting the right medical attention at the right point of time is very good. There are a lot of people who might not have access to immediate medical attention and intervention, but there are lots of NGOs, there are lots of organizations. The government is very helpful these days. So I think whoever, if anybody has TB or any kind of such disease, or even far worse than that, stay positive. Positive mind, I think, is 50% being healthy, and that helps your immune system become stronger and fight whatever disease you have. Obviously, and then medication and medical intervention also comes in. So stay positive.
That's really good advice. I just had a question about what you said. Could there be any lifestyle reasons for developing TB? Are you more prone to it because of your lifestyle?
I would only say every packet that you buy today of cigarettes or anything has the message written on it, smoking kills, and they've got like graphic pictures on it which are really bad. So please follow those pictures. Don't ignore what's written on the package. Lifestyle is do not smoke, have a healthy lifestyle. Smoking kills. people have started using vapes these days. They think vapes are healthy or a healthier choice compared to cigarettes and BDs or any kind of thing, substances that contain tobacco. It's absolutely wrong. Vapes are even far worse, apparently, a lot of researchers said. So why take, or even hookahs for that matter, why inhale anything and exhale? Why inhale smoke? Then we are living a life of double standards where we are complaining about AQI levels and pollution outside, whereas when we're sitting inside closed rooms or at a party, we're inhaling all that smoke out of our own choice and then exhaling it out just to look cool or a feel good factor. So I think the biggest point is bring a change in your lifestyle. It's not just lifestyle, the way you live, physical, but also mental, the way you think is also a lifestyle. If in your mind your lifestyle is healthy, which means that you do not have to show off to people or you do not have to prove a point to people around you that you're cool by smoking or doing or using any kind of substances or anything, then you will be healthy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.